And now continuing on to the back side, we're going to start multiplying. A couple kind of rules and steps for multiplying. We're going to multiply those coefficients that are in front of that square root symbol. So if there's a number in front, I would always multiply any numbers that are in front first. And then I'm going to use this product rule to multiply my numbers inside the square root symbol, meaning if I have the square root of A times the square root of B, I'm going to multiply A times B inside the square root symbol and get my answer, which is mostly what we're going to be doing for number 1 and number 2. For number 1, this is 3 square root of 12, and that's a square root of 6. If there was a number in front, it would just be a 1. So really, my coefficients in front of the square root, 3 times 1, I'm going to have a 3 in front of the square root symbol. Underneath the square root symbol, I'm going to do this product rule. I'm going to multiply the numbers underneath. 12 times 6 is 72. That is my answer. My last step right here, it says to simplify. So I have to figure out, is there a perfect square I can divide out of 72? 72, I have to test and see, can it be divided by 4? Can it be divided by 16? Can it be divided by, keep going down the list. I can, in fact, divide it by 36. So I'm now going to start simplifying. 36 times 2, this 3 stays in front. When that 36 comes out, it is a 6. And I'm multiplying it times that number that's still in front, that 3. So I end up with 18 root 2 as my answer. Number 2, I don't have anything in front. I just have my numbers underneath. So 5 times 10 is the square root of 50. Let's break that down into a perfect square. 50, a perfect square that can be divided by 50 is 25. And then when I take that 25 out of my square root symbol, I get a answer of 5 root 2. So I'm just multiplying my numbers underneath together. If I had any numbers in front, I would do those. All right, now let's continue down to the bottom where we're gonna just do a quick note about multiplying variables. If they both happen to be underneath the square root symbol, I wanna know what to do with my exponents. So when I have x to the third and x to the fourth, if I were to completely write that out, it would look like this, where I would have x to the third times x to the fourth. If I were to expand it all out, it would look like this, and I actually have a total of 7 x's. So really, my answer is just x to the 7. So when you see variables with exponents, we are going to add our exponents together. X to the 7 times x. This isn't a 0 as an exponent, it's like a 1 as an exponent. So if I were to add that together, I would get x to the 8th power. Again, it's multiplication, but during multiplication, we add our exponents. And this next one, number 7, y to the 3rd times y to the 5th is y to the 9th. Because again, this counts as 1. 3 plus 1 plus 5 gives me a total of 9. So down here, when I am multiplying 15 times 10, I'm going to just multiply those numbers in front. 15 times 10 gives me 150. But then n to the 2nd times n to the 3rd, I have n to the 5th power underneath my square root symbol. And now I'm going to practice simplifying and breaking this down just like we did last week with our variables. 150, the perfect square that I can divide out of 150 is 25. And then when I'm going to break down n to the 5th, I'm going to rewrite it as n to the 4th and an n as a remainder. So 25 can come out, and end of the fourth can come out. So I end up with 5 end of the second outside of my square root symbol, and 6n is left underneath my square root symbol. Let's do the same thing over here with number 8. Again, if I have any numbers in front, I'll multiply those first. So really, I got no number here, but I have a 4. So it's like 1 times 4. I'll have a 4 out in front of my square root symbol. Everything underneath gets multiplied. 18 times 3 gets multiplied together. 18 times 3 is 54. And then I have a to the second times a to the second. I get a to the fourth power. Now I need to start simplifying. I need to break down that 54. A perfect square that 54 can be divided by is 9. 9 times 6 is 54. A to the fourth is an even exponent, so I'll keep it the same. This 4 in front just drops down. I'm going to take that 9 out of my square root, and a to the fourth comes out of my square root. When that 9 comes out of my square root, the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of a to the fourth is a to the second. I have this 6 left underneath, and this 4 gets brought down and multiplied at the front. So really my final answer is going to be 12 a to the second root 6. Next one in here. I have two numbers standing in front. So -3 times 6 is -18. That's going to be in front of my square root. 7 times 7 is 49. R to the third times R to the second is going to be R to the fifth power. 49 is a perfect square, so it's going to be able to completely come out, but I need to break down this R to the fifth. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. 49 is a perfect square, but instead of R to the fifth, I'm going to have R to the fourth and a remainder R. That -18 is still going to stay in front. I'm going to end up in that perfect square 49 to come out, as well as that perfect square of R to the fourth to come out. So square root of 49 is 7. When R to the fourth comes out, it's R to the second. I'm left with the remainder R underneath. And this number in front comes down and will get multiplied times 7. So my final answer, I'm going to take -18 times 7 and get -126 R to the second square root R as my final answer. You will need to do number 10 on your own.